Good morning, everybody. All righty. So the Dow has reached its destination and should stabilize here, right? Look to the left, basic foundational stuff. You see the cursor where it is here overnight, up a little bit on the news, not a big deal. Maybe needs to probe a little down further. We'll just have to see. Typically, what leads the way down starts to show some relative strength. If you look through the Dow stocks, it's not pretty. It's all tech, you know. And that being said, this looks like the start of what could be the start of tech starting to join the bear party. Microsoft gapping down below the green bar, and it's at that bottoming tail bar, still in an uptrend. It's got next support. The good thing about patterns like this, well, they're erratic. Okay, so define erratic. Let me see if this look. You got like a overlapping bars there. Messy back and forth, kind of a self-correcting uptrend. Another cluster of overlapping bars. So there's plenty of support to stop it from moving down. So the idea of the void is not there. And some people say, what's a void? To Dan and I, it seems like McFly, look to the left. There's nothing there. But it seems to escape so many as to the concept of the void. So the voids, I'll just do it real quick here. Voids are created by momentum moves. So this is a momentum move, multiple bars moving in one direction, bar by bar. Each bar starts off where the other bar ends, give or take. There's a gapping down. That creates the price void. And then the best ones have a time correction and move away from what's to the left. And that creates a larger void. So in this one, you had this little pivot there and it went up and it consolidated. And then it made its next push into the resistance, consolidated, new highs, and now gapping down from there. You see the weekly chart like we see in many of them. And so from a weekly perspective, the things to keep an eye on: Microsoft coming down to the bottom of that previous bar's low. And so our systematic objective method is following what's the first point of support in the time frame you're utilizing. It's the prior bar's low. And so this has moved up, this here, as this is coming down, this bar above the high, bottoming tail bar, bar by bar. Okay, it's going up. Not the greatest of patterns, but it went up. And not the greatest of patterns, that short explanation of why, what is not the greatest of patterns, why it moved up the way it did. Anyway, so this is starting to falter. We see the Dow is at support. The more troubling thing is the transports that have broken down. You've got this big overhead top now, kind of ominous looking. Pivot high, pivot high, pivot high, break, retracement into minor resistance, break lower, and avoid below. There's a little bit of support. These overlapping bars right here. There's some support there. So that could be a stopping point to keep an eye on the Dow, 14,400. If we had another week to the downside to there, turn 1, 2, 3, support would make sense for it to begin to stabilize. So, as the airlines started to move down yesterday. Truckers have been going down. So, we look at our intermarket relationships, this is down there, give or take, give or take. So this should begin to stabilize, and we'll see where it goes from there, with the stabilization. How does it retrace significantly? That's retracements bar by bar. What do they do at support and so on? So, we got airlines that were showing relative strength going down. The cruise lines are still showing some relative strength. So people, summertime, they're going on vacation, they're going to spend, to do that. So we'll keep an eye on those as a measure as to, what consumers are doing. Look around what consumers are doing, and you see, McDonald's going into a little crash mode there, and probably buyers will start looking for that as it comes down here. That's entering bear market territory, right? 20% coming down there. So McDonald's, maybe it breaks that low and then begins to stabilize. So a lot of bad stuff going on, CRM, gapping down today. So there's, a tech stock. So CRM go on the way down. You know what they do. W Day, little crash starting there, coming down to support. So, and I made a comment in the green room the other day as to, maybe we're in recession already. You don't know yet. You got to wait for the government to give the official numbers, blah, blah, blah. But, you start seeing McDonald's going down, and, these companies like CRM, Workday, dForce, all going down. And it suggests these companies, not only are they having a difficult time, people, who do they service? And companies starting to lay off people. The AI thing may be taking people's jobs. So, some bad stuff going on out there. And, interest rates, bad stuff as far as we look at it in the markets. But for generally people, interest rates starting to go up a bit. Crude oil, I think it's still just flip-flopping around here. Still not out of the woods, which way it's going to go one way or the other. But clearly there are buyers down here and there's sellers up there. And that's the essence of a trading range. Which way is it going to go? It's in the middle of the trading range. So it's still at this point, stay away from there. Let's get to spiders and SPX. So this has been showing relative strength. And, clearly, if you split this up into value and growth, value's been getting smashed and growth has been holding up because it's all about tech. So with that, we're going to take a look at tech and semiconductors, but, whipsaw on the news, but breaking down under the wide range bar. We got an alert at the gap here, and it went down there, a little spike low, and then it came back up again. So we'll see. It should come down there today, maybe a little bit lower. But this little spike up on the news, prices are retracing back down. So one of our general concepts, guiding concepts, is wide range bars breaking out of a consolidation. Prices should not pull back to the bottom of the wide range bar. Common sense. It's a power bar. And it's supposed to consolidate at the top and stay in the upper 50% and go higher. That's not happening. Sellers coming back in. And SPX. Yesterday was a go nowhere day. Neither number got touched. Right? The bottom number was down here. That was the best. Prices are about here. I think the bottom number, unless things get out of hand, and you never know. I don't think it's coming down here today either. You got the 20 MA there. You got these overlapping bars. And so you got enough protection. And as far as getting turned around, let's see, are there any other calendar, any other numbers coming out? All the other numbers are out. 10 o'clock, this pending home sales. You never know what number might jiggle the market, but just be aware, at 10 o'clock, there's those, and then 11 o'clock, there's some oil information, a whole lot of oil information coming out. So that could be the real one that might jiggle things if oil starts moving. Keep that in mind. And looked at interest rates. Take a peek at the VIX here. Coming back off here into this little congestion. As things go down, put an alert up in this area near this high and be aware if it comes up there. That's often an indication of where things might turn around. Internals, getting down to a point where the markets should attempt to bounce. Now, when we look at, I got the S&Ps here. The S&Ps are starting to break under almost a 2-week consolidation, leaving a whole lot of overhead resistance there with a nasty red bar there. So that would suggest that eventually it could probably get down to 5,200 after a stall here. There's always going to be a stall most of the time. But with breadth coming down under this extreme, and ideally we get some downside, and whether it's tomorrow or Monday, I'm showing you that this is down near minus 250 or below, the markets would bounce. Now, sentiment would probably still be up here. It'll be a little bit lower. You see this topping pattern? You don't pay too much attention to patterns in these internals, but sometimes they hold up. So you can see this kind of little head and shoulders kind of a top suggesting this is going to come down. The pattern supports it, that there would start to be an increase in put buying over call buying. You can see the equity put call ratio with the lower high, starting to move down. Yesterday's breadth was quite negative. There wasn't an extreme, so as things come down, what we want to see is an extreme in put buying at the close. So these are closing values. So you want to see that. Now, intraday, you could put alerts, up here, 1.3, 1.5. Historically, that tends to be a good measure intraday when things get overcooked, along with a extreme under minus 1,000 NYSE tick. So as you're an intraday trader, those are good guides. This doesn't trigger too much intraday, where the tick does on negative days. And tech, SMHs, stalled at that 250. It was a big open interest expiring this week, and they're getting out, right? They're losing their money. If it could have gone up, they would have been in the money, and, happy times. Couldn't get through it. Down it goes into the gap fill. So in an uptrend, it's a little short term, but is gapping down, did gap down. This gapped up, gap down, didn't gap below the low, but whatever, it's negative. It just needs to correct a little bit. We see Microsoft doing what it's doing. The weekly chart is short-term extended. That could be a good thing, getting extended, because it puts air below to have a normal correction down to some lower support level. Right? The way semiconductors have acted, they need to correct a little bit. Some do, NVIDIA maybe, but long-term, whatever you think, as far as that, it's bullish. Look at this. Say it's up a lot, but look at this. Big pattern, head and shoulders, call it whatever you want. Right? It was bullish. Now the earnings came out and it gapped up. So, I think just based on the pattern, where is this today? Yeah, it's unchanged pretty much. They're still buying the dip. Should go up to 1,200. I think. And then from there, whole number starts to come down, unfilled gap. We'll see how far down it comes. Bitcoin still consolidating. A few weeks ago, we talked about the bottom, moved up to resistance so far, little bullish consolidation. It's beginning to coil. I think it should go up. It's at this resistance you can see on the weekly chart, but so far acting pretty well. Gold, on major support, not doing much of anything. Silver leading the way. Got to consolidate a little bit. We looked at oil, financials. Things are deteriorating. We had our internals give us a heads up warning. The correction is well underway. Tech needs to join the bear party a little bit. And at that point, there'll probably be some renewed hopes, beliefs that the Fed is going to cut, and the institutions will come back in again, and we'll see where it goes from there. All yours, Dan.
morning. We have a lot of gappers on earnings, so let's go right to that. I really don't have any alarms going off on our opens. Yeah, real big gappers here. Let's start at the top. Path getting killed. Um, so my bias is when we get a big old gap, particularly after it's down 10 bars in a row, is a put spread over 30-minute high. That's just my vanilla bias. And then it could be, I'll tell you more within 30 minutes. But I'm watching that. This thing gapping up to 34.40. What a crazy bullish move. Wow, that's bullish move. I wish it was gapping a lot more, like maybe $37, then I would say call spread. Yeah, CBS looks horrible. Remember we were talking about this not being a good quality pattern or quality bottoming pattern. Yeah, they both look horrible. Yeah. All right, cream, Greg mentioned. So I got that in the middle chart here. It's a nasty old gap. 30-minute high, 1 DTE put spread. But let's watch the entire sector for opportunity. I know Greg mentioned this one. Let's just watch the entire sector. There's only like half a dozen of Zulu Sierra. Looks bad. AI 2640 gap and resistance, but it's a bullish gap. And now make this a higher low and we got a void. But over last week's high, this would be a failed sell setup. I mean, there's no rush, but it looks like it's making the turn. Postage 69, gap's too big. AEO, that's a big ugly gap. I was contemplating doing a $20 condor, the 2028. Didn't have enough juice for me. No Curto, no pattern. Okay, Octa we did a condor, and we went way far away. So we're just gonna have a huge open gain. I just put a bid out for 4 cents for mine, and I'll give it 5 minutes and see what it looks like when the spreads contract. NTNX, they were bullish into the number. Now wow, it's capped all the way down here to 50. That's some pain. That's a kick in the butt to all these bulls there. Actually, if you could get up here and down here, it could be a condor idea. Capri just grinding lower, no interest. NCNO, 28 bucks. Bearish, you can watch the short gap. All right, this one, man, oh man, that's a big ugly gap. I'm gonna put that in a window. Oh, I already do. I have it in the bottom right here. All right, so I got alpha there. They don't have weeklies, unfortunately. 940, gap in a downtrend, no interest. Red Robin, bullish gap, I need a pullback. Noah, 1150. No bias, let's come back to it. Our Royal Bank of Canada, it would be a day trade at best. Have no interest. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I did DG too. Yeah, there's the next one. Yes, I'm bidding at 3 or 4 cents on that one too, Don. Just for new people, we love trading earnings and gaps. The safer thing is to wait for after the announcement to trade stock or option on earnings trades, because then you don't have the gap risk. And I still sell options on the gap day because the volatility doesn't contract to zero. So there's still good juice if you hit them quick. But we also trade options before the earnings. And so on these two that Don just typed out there, and those are the two I did. And I gave one official opt-in to subscribers. And look, here's Okta. One, oh no, that's DG. Well, it doesn't matter which. All right, so 160. See my horizontal line? We sold a $2.50 call spread. So as long as it closes within the short strikes by tomorrow at 4 p.m., we make max profit. But I get out of them in the middle because we're going to make 95% of profit and just be done with it. And then on the downside, as you see, we sold the 123s. So that's $16 lower. You can't even see it on my chart here. Look on the weekly. Look where 123 is. And so that's the idea of selling options into earnings. So yeah, we got those two. Hurl just grinding lower. Yeah, that's exactly right. BBY 7. That's a pro gap. That's an igniting gap from a downtrend. So let's watch that on a pullback. Burl, I love this gap. I love this bar. I was saying the last couple days, I would, if it didn't have earnings this morning like it did, I love this pattern. And now I was hoping, I said yesterday, that it would open flat and then we could get our trade into the void, but now it's up at 230. Man, it's a big gap. So it's a bullish gap, but it's in the excessive gap department. So 30-minute low, let's watch 1 DTE call spread. Burke is 57, is gapping too much. No interest. But call spread idea maybe. Food alarm just went off. We are long this as a core long. So let me just reset my hood alarm. It was at spot 45. Now I'll just move it to spot 90. KSS, nasty gap. So it just fits in the excessive gap category. 30-minute high, put spread. This one, big old bottoming pattern. This one I said, in my opinion, the risk was to the upside, being down from 35 bucks. And I was hoping it would gap up just a little. And then we would have bought it, whatever, 5, 10, 15, 30-minute high. So the excessive gap is messing it up. But let's watch it on a pullback because that's now a very bullish multi-month bottom. Cal, that's a big old mess. Kerbal, this is a restaurant. We were comparing Kerbal yesterday to, look at Texas Roadhouse. Amazing strength, all time frames. I think Kerbal looks horrible. Little marijuana stock, CJC. No pattern. Let's see if the sector's doing anything. Michael Jackson, nope. So no interest in marijuana. Spartan, I don't see a gap. BBW gapping down. That's a nasty gap. Gapping under all this, leaving this as a monster upside shakeout. That'd be a call spread. Well, talking about marijuana, this IIPR is a REIT that rents property to the drug dealers. All right, so that's it on earnings. So Sam, we picked the two best earnings trades. All right. Alex found us this yesterday. It's a buy setup. You can buy yesterday's high. SYF looks like a day trade short. CNM, I don't know why I'm looking at that. Lot ripped the last 2 days, but nothing to do now. EMPH. We were talking about this last Friday on this bar. Nothing to do now, but I think it's making a long-term bottom. Look at the converging MAs. I just had an alarm on McDonald's go off. Now we have zero reversal on this daily chart. But I'd say 15-minute high, maybe if it holds yesterday's low, could be a day trade short. Day trade long. Day trade long. SMFL, that's a big old gap. I don't know what's up with that. Broker. This was not earnings, so I don't know what happened to broker. Pelletier, 30-minute high. It's a potential bottoming pattern. Because you got parallel declining 2050. DPST is a levered regional bank down a lot near support. Let's keep an eye on this. Ozark got killed yesterday, but well, could be a day trade and a 1 DTE put spread if there's any juice at 39. 39. Let me look. Bank of Ozark. Up there, 0 by 55. Thank you very much. All right, I had a Rettle alarm. This is our XRT, Alex. Rettle. I said, if it takes out these tail, I didn't know if they would do a little retest or do this and, red bar ignored, but let's keep an eye on Rettle. A bottom right. Look, bottom right. I said big old gap. All right, Octa is coming in to fill the gap. I'm not filled yet on either one of my orders. I'm sure it's because of the spreads, and I'm only bidding 4 cents to get out. Yeah, Dollar General is not even open. That's showing me at a loss, which is impossible. Octa, let's see what the midpoint is. It's showing me a loss. So it's either not open. Yeah, it's ridiculous spreads is the problem. And these guys just do not play fair. You're trying to take your money and they won't give you a market to get out. So I'm bidding a nickel, see what happens here.
That's your options, buddies.
No, they're friggin' ass jerk wipes. Is that a word? All right, now I have an open profit in DG. It says the midpoint is a penny. But again, that's because of the midpoint. I'm bidding 3 or 4 cents and not getting filled. All right, let me try 4. No fill at 4. Let me try 5 and I'll leave it there. No fill. Stupid spreads. I'm just gonna leave it for now. Not Octa, this TTD alarm, remember I said? It's doing, my throat is still, I can't talk. It's only 3 minutes into the day, but I would love this pattern if it closed like this. it's a buy setup with a retest and an uptrend and a 1, 2, 3. LSPD is stopping out. No, it's not. No, my bad. It's an early alarm. All right, I mentioned hood path is in pain, cream, pain, A alpha, rally too much, AI. Yeah, I just hate rushing into those big gappers and goes. So I'm just more patient, wait for my setup is all. But yeah, I mentioned it's bullish Florida gap and go, so can't do anything with that. Oh, I had an alarm LSPD at break even. That's why it went off early. All right, finally got filled on something. Let me see which one.
Watch 5250 on SPX. Should be buyers there. If it goes through it, that's going to not be a good thing. Right through it, sitting right now. Let's see if it begins to hold. Is the ticks would have been better if there wasn't that in early buying. The ticks opened higher, and better if they opened lower. But now they have room to get down to zero. Usually, that when they open high, they come down to zero. Gives you a guide to where buyers might step in again.
All right, so I got filled on both those now, so I'm done with those two earnings stocks. See, Don, it took 6 minutes, even though the stock's going down, it took 6 minutes for those spreads to contract. So I'm out of one of them at 4 cents, the other one at 5. Yeah, Greg, Mark Paninsky just texted me this Tesla. So yeah, it's still trying to make the turn.
Yeah, I saw the ticker go by this morning. I got an alert at the top of the red bar on 523.
Mm.
Maybe, well, up to you. You want to do a put spread expiring tomorrow if there's some juice, maybe under that pivot low in May. Or a call spread, whatever. It's right in the middle of the range.
I guarantee you there's going to be no juice with the little VIX. Tesla 170. 26 cents naked. No way. Marijuana is.
Oh, you know what? It's bottoming, Dan. Uh, been destroyed shop. Maybe a put spread on that. Finding premium expiring in a day is needle in a haystack, but I have an alert on that if it gets a little higher, maybe for a long.
Sure. I'm gonna just set an alarm at 180 on this. Not gonna rush into it. There's also pending news on Tesla with the shareholders approving or not his $56 billion paycheck. So
Did you see the article about he and Trump are in talks about him having some not position, influence, I don't know what, about him being part of his advisory thing.
that's good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It'll help them both out.
Yeah. Trump will get up there and say, nobody knows more about electric cars than me. Anything he says, I'm the best at this. I know more than that about anything. He's entertaining.
Well, NVIDIA is still not cracking. What a beast. SMH, as I looked yesterday for a call spread, no juice.
Yeah, they ripped off of the turn, 5 minute. Yeah, yeah. I think that's what it said. Well, he'll probably advise more than just border control, but maybe he'll throw $500 million into Trump's campaign. You read what this judge told the jury?
Well, many things. So what in particular?
Basically, he said, you know, I'll shorten thing. Don't pay much attention to Cohen, and don't be concerned about Trump was a former president or what influence that may have. Basically, guiding them as to being flexible to convict Trump.
Yeah, he surely doesn't like them, that's for sure.
Mm.
Path is still tanking. I don't know what they said or didn't say.
SPX poked under 5250 and popped back up again. Qs, I have my NQ chart set up like a regular Qs. So I don't know if it's the same, probably is the same, but they came down into this, there was an open gap.
Nice. I search your notes. Yeah. Yeah. That's your something bar if it closes like this. RDNT. Sure. I would say it's, going to depend on the market, is my only hesitancy, but a good pattern.
I don't think the market's going to get a lot of downside here from this, just a thought, but you got that number tomorrow. That should put some type of hesitancy.
Sam, this was yours. Alarm went off for me. Wow, look at this breakout failure in GME. AMC too. We're still in this nary. Slow and steady. Stop here. 49.57.
Coin. Been talking about coin for a while. Bitcoin isn't moving much, but if coin gets through that green bar from the 26th, 28th, it should tag 250 pretty quick, I think. And it's got room.
That was 2382. Well, I'll leave it. It's 2382 is break even. CSIQ. Tighten stop. Those are all the opens. They're all fine. Tomorrow we're long stock and put spread for tomorrow. Oh, Mara up alarm right now. Good. Hey, the Alex, JD alarm. Really? Really? When? Yeah, I never knew you went in earlier. Florida sure took off today. Yeah, I'm not comfortable yet for a swing, but it's right here at the gap fill now. Let's see how it closes. Well, I wish we had a bottoming tail yesterday. Tesla alarm. You decide, Greg, when you want to start nibbling. I agree. Up under 171. Let's give it a big one. Already 11 million shares. Wow. Mm. Oh, now you tell me. That's fine. Took out the high of took out the high of 3 bars. So it's pretty good to do a third one. Yeah, I should have thought of that too. But I'm not TSLT. Uh, you know what? I like that better. TSLT. All right, well, shoot, Alex. I'm not gonna keep correcting them. I'm not gonna keep correcting, so I'm gonna leave it. Um, yeah, I like 2x better. Oh shoot, I did the 3x one. TSLT is 2x. All right, no, I did the yeah, 2 is enough. I don't need to get them all cranked up. Let's see if I go out to the next week. Oh, it's spreading. $70. Yeah, there's juice. One. We're in it. That's, let's see, naked puts, I think. But let me look. Uh, yeah, remember I emailed you and Sam saying it could be a home run just on this monthly reversal, but I didn't like it as a directional, so I gave it as a naked put or put spread. I forget. Check the spreadsheet. All right, ignore that. Ignore that. I gave the wrong expiration. Hold on, it's June 7th.